Tonight on the America's Car-Mart Football Report, as the days dwindle down to a precious few, so do the teams remaining in the playoff hunt. It's the second week of the playoffs, but the first for a dozen teams that got to rest with a bye last week. A few others were stunned in opening week upsets. 8 teams remain with unblemished records, and the pressure now tightens for them to keep their slate spotless. But really, there's pressure enough to go around for everyone. I'm David Wallace. Barry Grooms will sidle up beside me here in a minute for analysis on some of the most important games of the year. It's the playoffs. It's the America's Car-Mart Football Report, and it starts now. Counting all classifications, including 8-man football, only 68 teams are still playing, working their way to War Memorial Stadium in early December. This show is powered, of course, by Hootens.com. The executive producer is Thomas Thrash. Spencer Templeton is the producer and audio editor. Let's hit it by diving into the Class 7A rankings, and the top 10 for the third straight week remain the same on Hootens.com, starting with the Bryant Hornets. In fact, number 1 Bryant and number 2 Cabot both had first-round byes. Third is Conway, after Mercy ruling Harbor a week ago. Bentonville, the 7A West champs, had a bye last week, and the Tigers are ranked 4th. Then you have Bentonville West at 5, Rogers at 6, Fayetteville, last year's runner-up, with a first-round bye a week ago, checking in at number 7. Number 8 is North Little Rock, then Fort Smith Northside at 9, and Fort Smith Southside at 10, both the Fort Smith schools with identical 4-7 records. Well, Hootens.com has done pretty well in Class 7A, with 86% on the year, 71-12. That's a gaudy record for Hootens.com, if we do say so ourselves. Let's get into the picks this week in the quarterfinal round. And on the top half of the bracket, you've got 6th-ranked Rogers traveling to number 1 Bryant. Hootens.com likes that long winning streak to continue for the Hornets. Bryant the favorite here. Number 3 Conway at number 7 Fayetteville, with the winner to collide with the winner of that first game. Hootens.com is going with the Wampus Cats of Conway. Let's move to the bottom half of the bracket. Here are the pairings. Number 8 North Little Rock at number 4 Bentonville, and number 5 Bentonville West at second-ranked Cabot. In the first game, Hootens.com likes number 4 Bentonville to prevail at home. And in the second game, the home team also favored, as we're going with number 2 Cabot. All right, those are the 4 games in 7A. Barry Grooms, what do you like?
David, the game that jumps off the page has to be Conway at Fayetteville. Fayetteville finished second in the 7A West this season, and the Purple Dogs' only 2 conference losses were by a combined 2 points. Of course, Fayetteville is led by quarterback Drake Lindsey. He's thrown for over 3,700 yards, 38 touchdowns this season. The leading tackler, of course, senior linebacker Brooks Urachek. And Conway counters with a terrific offense, led by junior southpaw quarterback Donovan Amalo. He threw for 219 yards and 4 touchdowns last week in that win over Harbor.
Let's move on then to Class 6A, where the top 5 in the Hootens.com rankings are the same from last week. The top 4 seeds all had first-round byes, starting with top-ranked Greenwood at 8-2. Pulaski Academy, with just 1 loss on the year, is at number 2. In fact, the Bruins' only loss came to the top-ranked Bulldogs. Little Rock Catholic is the first unbeaten team in the ranking, 10-0, and ranked number 3. Then you have Benton at 4. Little Rock Christian staying at number 5 after beating defending state champion El Dorado. Lake Hamilton is 6th. Then Russellville moving up 3 spots to number 7, back into the quarterfinals for the Cyclones. Mountain Home moves up 4 spots, is now ranked 8th after dominating Marion. And the Patriots, ending their season, dropped 2 spots to number 9. Then West Memphis falling 2 to number 10. In Class 6A, Hootens.com 86-17 on the picks this year. That's 83%. In the top half of the 6A bracket, number 7 Russellville at top-ranked Greenwood. You know, Greenwood beat Russellville when the teams met October 14th. 42-21 was that score. Hootens.com expects a repeat. Greenwood the pick here. Number 6 Lake Hamilton is a favorite at Benton. Now let's move to the bottom half of the bracket. This one in War Memorial Stadium. Number 5 Little Rock Christian At number 3, Little Rock Catholic. Hootens.com going with the Rockets to stay unbeaten. 8th-ranked Mountain Home travels to number 2, Pulaski Academy. This one won't be close. Pulaski Academy a big home favorite. So the 6A lineup is there, Barry. Take us through it.
Lake Hamilton at Benton, and David, these two teams know each other very, very well. Lake Hamilton's led by quarterback Easton Hurley and running back Justin Crutchmer. Benton has won 7 games in a row after losing to Bryant and Catholic to start the season. The Panthers have a salty defense. And David, also looking at Little Rock Christian at Little Rock Catholic. Little Rock Christian, of course, led by junior quarterback Walker White. He threw 2 touchdowns last week in that win over El Dorado. Catholic comes in averaging 36 points a game. The undefeated Rockets are led by senior quarterback Sam Sanders. He's got over 2,300 yards and 32 touchdowns this season.
Can't wait for kickoff. Man, it's time for some football. I'm Chad Hooten for America's Car-Mart. If you're headed to the game, just remember that America's Car-Mart is all in for Arkansas high school football. And when you shop at America's Car-Mart, they're all in for you. From purchase to payoff, Car-Mart will work with you and your individual situation. It's personal for Car-Mart. Just go see for yourself why Car-Mart is different from all the rest. You can stay connected by following Car-Mart on social media or online at car-mart.com. America's Car-Mart, keeping you on the road and good neighbors in our communities. Coming up next, more from the America's Car-Mart football studios. David Wallace and the Hootens crew with more rankings, analysis, and predictions next on the America's Car-Mart football report.
Not all college ends with a bachelor's degree. There are shorter-term programs that help students get to work in a profession they love. Best of all, Arkansas needs qualified workers in these high-demand fields: healthcare, industry manufacturing, and information technology. There are scholarships such as Arkansas Workforce Challenge and Our Future that will help pay for classes. Apply today at scholarships.adhe.edu.
Okay, I gotta pick up some beef for the cookout. Now what's good?
Let Tony make the call.
Tony Romo? What are you doing in a butcher shop?
Just something I picked up in the off-season. What's up?
I'm on my way to a barbecue. What should I bring?
Steaks, hamburgers, brisket.
Are those my choices?
That's your order. Beef is the best way to make your cookouts extraordinary this summer.
Thanks, Tony.
Another satisfied customer. All right, who's next? Beef. It's what's for dinner. Funded by beef farmers and ranchers.
You're listening to a public service announcement from the Arkansas Attorney General. Every day, we are flooded with robocalls from criminals who change their caller ID to look like local numbers, claiming to be a grandchild in jail, the IRS, or maybe it's just Rachel from Card Services. Don't let someone you know fall prey to these scams. Together, let's stop these illegal calls. Let your Attorney General do the fighting for you. Call 800-482-8982 or visit arkansasag.gov.
Welcome back to the America's Car-Mart studios. We're continuing on with this playoff edition of the America's Car-Mart football report, and we'll move to Class 5A now. The top 5 on the Hootens.com ranking remain the same. In fact, the top 3 have been the same all year, led by Little Rock Parkview at number 1. Joe T. Robinson is number 2. Shiloh Christian at number 3. Then you have 10-1 Mills ranked 4th. 5th-ranked Camden Fairview at number 5. Valley View is up 2 spots to number 6 after beating number 9 Farmington by 3 a week ago. 7th is Wynn, moving up 3 spots after a 3-point win over Harrison. Then you have Batesville jumping back into the top 10 at number 8 after winning at Prairie Grove. Farmington drops to number 9. Hot Springs is 10th. Hootens.com correctly predicted 6 of 8 last week, and on the year, 84% on Class 5A. So let's look at this week's picks. In the top half of the bracket, 8th-ranked Batesville going to number 2, Joe T. Robinson. Hootens.com likes the home team to win in West Little Rock. 7th-ranked Wynn plays at number 1 Little Rock Parkview. That's a Thursday night game in War Memorial Stadium. Hootens.com likes the Patriots to end the season for the Yellow Jackets. Well, Barry, which of these games stand out to you?
Well, Batesville at Joe T. Robinson could be intriguing. Batesville went up to Prairie Grove last week and won by 8 points. Meanwhile, Robinson looked dominant against Magnolia. Sophomore quarterback Quentin Murphy accounted for 3 touchdowns in that game.
Now to the bottom half of the bracket. 5th-ranked Camden Fairview goes to number 6 Valley View. This is the first meeting between these two programs. And after playing poorly on defense in Week 10 and a loss to Parkview, the Cardinals shut out Valonia last week 30-0. Valley View beat Farmington 41-39 last week in a game that featured 5 lead changes. Carson Turley, the quarterback, threw the winning 65-yard TD pass for the Blazers. This week, Hootens.com likes Valley View to continue on, picking the Blazers to beat the Cardinals. Third-ranked Shiloh Christian at home is a favorite over Mills. And Barry, that's a game worth talking about.
It's got to be Mills at Shiloh. Mills has a game plan. Keep it close, try to win at the end, because the Comets have rallied from second-half deficits in 6 of their 10 wins this season. Last week, they trailed Hot Springs by a point in the third quarter, ended up winning the game by 5 points. Meanwhile, Shiloh Christian scored 6 touchdowns in the first quarter last week against Nettleton, won that game 55-14. The Saints have won 10 straight games, and in the past 8 weeks, they've outscored their opponents by an average of 55-16.
All right, that takes care of the 5A bracket. We'll come back with the 4A quarterfinals in a moment.
Okay, David, sounds like some great games this week. I'm Chad Hooten with Hooten's Arkansas Football for America's Car-Mart. And just like all the hard-working high school football players, the folks at Car-Mart work hard to keep you on the road. Car-Mart knows that buying a vehicle is a big decision, and that's why they take selling you a vehicle very seriously. When you shop at Car-Mart, they're there for you. Car-Mart cares about you and your vehicle ownership. You know what? You can save time at the dealership by starting your car buying journey online at car-mart.com. It's America's Car-Mart, keeping you on the road. That's their pledge to you. And coming up next, more from the America's Car-Mart Football Report studios. David and the Hootens gang with analysis of more matchups and those crystal ball predictions. Next on the America's Car-Mart Football Report.
Going to college may not look the same as it has before, but you have the power to move forward. There are over 1,000 hands-on or online programs in Arkansas designed to put you to work, and they qualify for state scholarships and grants. Healthcare, education, computer technology, industry technology, and more. Take your next step forward. Visit explorearcareers.com with instructions about how to apply.
Hey everyone, it's Tony Romo, and I'm here to remind you that it's grilling season. And how do you make those summer cookouts extraordinary? With beef. Whether you're slow roasting ribs or throwing a couple of hamburgers on the grill, some top sirloin kebabs, or, wait, what was I saying again? Oh, yeah! Set your grilling season on fire this year with beef. Beef, it's what's for dinner. For more ideas, visit beefitswhatsfordinner.com. Funded by beef farmers and ranchers.
Don't miss the return of Nighthawk Athletics this fall at National Park College in Hot Springs. With baseball, softball, cross country, men and women's basketball, and newly added men and women's soccer, Nighthawk Nation has something for every sports fan in the Spa City. Cheer on the Nighthawks this season as NPC competes for an NJCAA Region 2 championship and continues to make sports history here in Hot Springs. For more information, visit np.edu/athletics. Get 'em Hawks!
David Wallace back with you on this America's Car-Mart Football Report. Let's move on now to Class 4A and look at the rankings on Hootens.com. The top 10 are the same as a week ago. Top to bottom, you've got unbeaten Arkadelphia at number 1. Another unbeaten team, 9-0 Harney Academy, did not play last week. The Warren Lumberjacks are once again in the second round of the playoffs and ranked 3rd this week. Star City is 4th, followed by Malvern at 5, Stuttgart number 6. 7th-ranked Pocahontas has won 10 games for the first time since 2015. Elkins had a bye last week. The Elks are ranked 8th. Then you have McGee at 9, and Harmony Grove Haskell has won the 3rd playoff game in school history last week, putting them at number 10. Hootens.com got all 14 games in Class 4A correct last week, and on the year, 250 of 284 for 88%. Let's look at this week's picks in the top half of the bracket. Harney Academy playing at home against DeWitt. The second-ranked and unbeaten Wildcats haven't lost a postseason game since falling to Lamar 32-13 in the second round of the 2018 Class 3A playoffs. Then again, the Wildcats have never played in 4A. However, they're picked in this one. Harney Academy the favorite there. Number 9, McGee at number 10, Harmony Grove Haskell. tight matchup, but Hootens.com thinks the Owls will prevail on the road. Number 1 Arkadelphia, home favorite over Ozark. 4th-ranked Star City is the pick at Rivercrest. Okay, Barry, that runs through the top half of the bracket. Break it down for us.
Top-ranked Arkadelphia plays host to Ozark, and Ozark's defense was pretty good last week. They held Mena to just 71 yards. Arkadelphia, meanwhile, has a great offense that's clicking along with senior quarterback Donovan Witten, and sophomore Kyle Reed had a big game last week. He averaged nearly 22 yards a carry. Also, Star City's at Rivercrest. Rivercrest beat Star City in the 2002 quarterfinals by 14 points, but that was 20 years ago. This Star City Bulldog team has 10 wins this season, and Coach Fleming at Rivercrest says Star City is the most athletic team they've played in 10 weeks.
Let's get to the bottom half of the bracket then, where 8th-ranked Elkins will welcome Ashdown. Hootens.com picks Elkins in this one. Number 7, Pocahontas plays host to Nashville, which has a long way to go for this game. Pocahontas quarterback Connor Baker is now the state's all-time rushing touchdown leader with an even 100 on his career. And Hootens.com thinks his Redskins will move on past Nashville. 6th-ranked Stuttgart is an underdog at number 3, Warren. Number 5, Malvern favored on the road at Lamar. All right, Barry, the bottom half of the bracket, it's all yours.
When David, Stuttgart and Warren know each other well. They played non-conference games against each other for over a decade. In fact, Warren has won 13 of the past 17 meetings against Stuttgart, but Stuttgart beat Warren earlier this season by 3 points in week 0. Last week, the Stuttgart Ricebirds led Crossett by 28 points at halftime. They won that game 48-21. Stuttgart's led by sophomore quarterback receiver Deontay Clark and senior running back Cedric Hawkins. Meanwhile, you've got a Warren Lumberjack team that's rolling along now. Senior quarterback Maddox Lassiter is a passing and running threat, and he's got some good sophomore receivers, including DeAndre Thomas and Antonio Jordan. Expect a good one down in Bradley County.
All right, thanks, Barry. Next up, Class 3A on this America's Car-Mart football report.
All right, David, getting a little closer to kickoff. I'm Chad Hooten for America's Car-Mart, keeping you on the road. It's America's Car-Mart, and they will do all they can to keep you on the road. America's Car-Mart makes it easy to buy. They offer affordable, quality vehicles, low down payments, plus optional service contracts to offer a little peace of mind. And if you're credit challenged, America's Car-Mart is the place for you. Affordable used vehicles with low down payments, flexible payment plans. It's America's Car-Mart, keeping you on the road. And coming up next, it's more of the America's Car-Mart football report.
Exciting news for Arkansas students. Our team at the Arkansas Division of Higher Education has been hard at work to improve your scholarship application experience. So starting after October 1st, you will no longer log on to the Universal application to apply for and manage your scholarship applications. Instead, you will be going to SAMS, our scholarship application management system. Don't worry though, our team of financial aid experts will be there to help you navigate our revamped application process. So go ahead and start researching your financial aid options now at sams.adhe.edu.
Don't miss the return of Nighthawk Athletics this fall at National Park College in Hot Springs. With baseball, softball, cross country, men and women's basketball, and newly added men and women's soccer, Nighthawk Nation has something for every sports fan in the Spa City. Cheer on the Nighthawks this season as NPC competes for an NJCAA Region 2 championship and continues to make sports history here in Hot Springs. For more information, visit np.edu/athletics. Get 'em Hawks!
Friday night football sometimes means Friday night injury. For the 4th season in a row, the Arkansas children's team is available to get your athletes the immediate treatment they need. From pulled hamstrings to torn ACLs, sports medicine specialists and orthopedic surgeons are available from 10 to midnight at the Arkansas Children's Hospital Friday Night Sports Injury Clinic. All through the regular season, Arkansas Children's Hospital Friday Night Sports Injury Clinic. No appointment necessary.
On to Class 3A now. It's the 4th quarter of this America's Car-Mart football report, so pay attention. 3A pretty much went according to the rankings last week. Only one change in the top 10. Number 1, Prescott isn't the change. In fact, the Curly Wolves have been at number 1 all year long. 2 is Charleston at 10-1. Then you have unbeaten Rising at number 3. Melbourne, another unbeaten team, 11-0 for the Bearcats, and they're ranked 4th. Fifth-ranked Boonville's only loss was to Charleston this year. Glen Rose is ranked 6th. Then you have a 3 times beaten Osceola team at number 7. Newport is 8. Centerpoint is up 1 to number 9 after beating Lavaca. Then Camden Harmony Grove up 1 into the top 10 at number 10 after beating Corman. Let's look at the picks for this week 12, the second round of the playoffs in Class 3A. 6th-ranked Glen Rose plays host to Fordyce. Hootens.com likes the Beavers to prevail. 4th-ranked Melbourne is unbeaten and should stay that way. Hootens.com picking the Bearcats over visiting Greenland. Number 10, Camden Harmony Grove traveling to 7th-ranked Osceola, and Harmony Grove is a road favorite. And number 5, Boonville, likewise favored on the road at Smackover. All right, Barry, let's pause and get your thoughts on those games.
Fordyce beat Glen Rose by 8 points way back in Week 3. These two teams sport talented running backs. For Fordyce, it's senior Christian Beelan. He had 164 yards and 2 touchdowns last week in that 31-point win over Mansfield. Meanwhile, Glen Rose had a first-round bye last week, but back in Week 10, the Beavers scored 67 points behind Heath Balance, a junior running back. Balance had 4 touchdowns in the first half of that game.
Back to the picks to the bottom half of the bracket. Number 3, Risen will welcome Bismarck. This is a rematch from earlier in the year. Risen won that one 34-31. So this should be very close again, but Hootens.com thinks the Wildcats of Risen will move on. Number 1, Prescott at home against Salem. No contest here. This should be a blowout for the Curly Wolves. No team in the state has come close to slowing down Prescott this entire season. Number 9, Centerpoint will travel to number 2, Charleston. Hootens.com likes the Tigers of Charleston to win there. And number 8, Newport at home is a favorite over Quitman. All right, Barry, close out 3A for us.
Centerpoint at Charleston should be good. Charleston quarterback Brandon Scott, he had 5 touchdowns last week in that 41-6 victory over Gurdon. Centerpoint is led by senior running back Jace Clark. He's got over 1,600 yards this season. Also intrigued by Quitman at Newport. Quitman beat Hoxie last week by 7 points after registering 10 tackles for loss in that game. And Newport beat up on Magnet Cove last week by 36 points. Kylan Cright had a big game at receiver, and so did quarterback Deja Marshall. He passed for 343 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Let's move on to Class 2A now. Here are the rankings on Hootens.com. Hazen at 10-0, still our number 1 ranked team. Carlisle is up 2 spots to number 2 after rallying past Mineral Springs. Then you have Mount Ida up 2 to number 3. Earl is up 2 to 4 after beating Bigelow. Des Arc is up a couple to number 5. East Poinsett County also moving up 3 spots to number 6. Mark Tree jumps 4 to number 7. Derricks, though, tumbles 5 spots to number 8 after losing to unranked England. Then Bigelow dropping as well, 7 spots down to number 9 after getting beaten in the first round. And Hector also slipping 1 position to number 10. Well, last week, Hootens.com got 6 of 8 correct. On the year, 80% in Class 2A. Here are the picks this week. It's number 4, Earl, at number 2, Carlisle. This is an interesting East Arkansas battle. Hootens.com thinks the Bison of Carlisle will pull it out. Number 3, Mount Ida, across the state to number 5, Des Arc. Hootens.com going with the homestanding Eagles there. In the bottom half of the bracket, you've got 6th-ranked East Poinsett County welcoming England. Hootens.com thinks EPC will be the winner. 7th-ranked Mark Tree traveling to number 1 Hazen. Nobody's gotten the Hornets yet this year, and Mark Tree won't either, according to Hootens.com. Hazen, the favorite there. Barry?
Boy, Earl at Carlisle catches the eye, David. Earl's going for its 7th win in a row after knocking off 1-2A champion Bigelow last week. Running backs Cam Smith and B.J. Powell each rushed for more than 100 yards in that game, and standout receiver Joseph McVeigh also had over 100 yards. Carlisle, on the other hand, really struggled with Mineral Springs. The Bison trailed 22-8 in the third quarter before senior running back Jason Sullivan took over. He finished with 151 yards and 2 touchdowns.
All right, let's wrap it up with the picks in 8-man football. And first, the rankings, the top 5. Mountain Pine unbeaten at 11-0. Then Woodlawn at number 2. Izard County Consolidated moves up 1 spot to number 3. Rector is up 1 to number 4. and Spring Hill drops 2 spots to number 5. In 8-man, last week, only 4 games to pick. Hootens.com got 3 of them correct, and on the year, 90-18 is the record for 83%. It's the semifinals in 8-man, and here are your picks. Number 2, Woodlawn. At number 3, Izard County Consolidated. Izard County advances to the semifinal in its first ever season of football, but this is where it ends. Number 2, Woodlawn is the favorite here. Number 1, Mountain Pine at home welcoming number 4, Rector. Hootens.com going with Mountain Pine to stay unbeaten.
You're listening to a public service announcement from the Arkansas Attorney General. Parents, would you let your child get in a car with someone you don't know or spend the night with a stranger? If you don't know who your children are texting and gaming with on their phones, you could be allowing dangerous people into your home and their bedrooms. Be informed, and together let's protect our kids. Let your Attorney General do the fighting for you. Call 800-482-8982 or visit arkansasag.gov.
Friday night football sometimes means Friday night injury. For the 4th season in a row, the Arkansas children's team is available to get your athletes the immediate treatment they need. From pulled hamstrings to torn ACLs, sports medicine specialists and orthopedic surgeons are available from 10 to midnight at the Arkansas Children's Hospital Friday Night Sports Injury Clinic. All through the regular season, Arkansas Children's Hospital Friday Night Sports Injury Clinic. No appointment necessary.
Well, that takes care of this edition of the America's Car-Mart Football Report, and only one show remains. As always, keep up with the scores on game night as they happen on the high school scoreboard at Hootens.com, powered by First Security. After this week, just not much football left, but Hootens.com will see you through to the end of the year. Until next week, I'm David Wallace for Barry Grooms. We'll see you here on the next America's Car-Mart Football Report.